The last time I saw my parents, my brother was screaming that I stole his life while standing in my grandfather's house. And the worst part? A few years earlier, they threw me out like I was nothing. I didn't plan to ever see them again after that night. I was 19, standing outside with a duffel bag, and the door slammed behind me so hard the glass shook. No one followed me. Not my mom, not my dad, not even my brother. But to understand how it got that bad, you need to know what it was like growing up in that house. Because it didn't start with one big moment. It started with 1,000 small ones. My younger brother didn't just get more attention. He lived in a completely different reality. If he broke something, it was an accident. If I broke something, it was my fault. I remember one time, he knocked over a glass in the kitchen. It shattered everywhere. My mom rushed in, grabbed him, checked if he was okay like he'd just survived something. Then she turned to me. "Why weren't you watching him?" I was 6. He was 5. And somehow, I was already responsible for him. That's when it started. Not the favoritism itself. I think that was always there. But that was the first time I realized I was on my own. By the time we hit middle school, it wasn't even subtle anymore. My brother got rewarded for existing. I got criticized for breathing wrong. He forgot his homework? My mom drove it to school. I forgot mine once, just once, and my dad made me stand in the corner like I was still a little kid. "Maybe this will help you remember next time," he said. But the thing that really stuck with me was birthdays. When I turned 10, I got a cheap watch and a "be responsible now" speech. 3 months later, my brother turned 9. They threw him a full party at a bowling alley. Dozens of kids, pizza, cake, decorations. And at the end, they gave him a brand new gaming console. The same one I had been asking for all year. I remember sitting there, watching him open it, and thinking, okay, so this is how it's going to be. By the time I turned 15, I stopped expecting anything from them. Not gifts, not support, not even basic fairness. I just adjusted. I got a job at this small diner about 20 minutes from our house. Nothing special. Greasy floors, loud kitchen, the smell of burnt oil that sticks to your clothes no matter how many times you wash them. But it was mine. My money, my time, my decisions. I remember coming home one night after a late shift. It was around 10 p.m. I was exhausted, hands still smelling like fries and dish soap. I walked into the living room and saw my brother on the couch, yelling. Not complaining, yelling. "Why would you buy this one? I told you I don't like this flavor." He threw the bag of chips onto the floor. And my mom, she actually bent down and picked it up. "I'm sorry, honey. I'll get the right one tomorrow." I just stood there in the hallway, still holding my work shoes in one hand. I had just worked a 6-hour shift after school, and he was screaming about chips. My dad looked over at me and frowned. "You're late." That's all he said. Not, "How was work?" Not, "You look tired." Just that. "You're late." Something inside me just went quiet in that moment. Not angry, not sad, just done. Around that time, I started going to my grandfather more often. At first, it was just an escape, a way to breathe. His place was completely different. No noise, no tension, no walking on eggshells. Just quiet land, a small house, and things that actually needed effort to work. Chopping wood, fixing fences, feeding chickens. Real things. The first time I went there alone, I remember stepping off the bus and just standing there for a second. It felt peaceful, like my brain finally stopped bracing for something. My grandfather opened the door, looked at me, and just said, "You're taller." That was his version of a warm welcome. Inside, nothing had changed. Same wooden table, same old clock ticking loudly on the wall, same smell of tea and something cooked earlier. "You staying the night?" he asked. "Yeah, if that's okay." He gave me a look like that was a stupid question. "You don't need permission here." That sentence stuck with me, because I realized I always needed permission at home. To eat, to go out, to exist without being blamed for something. But not here. We didn't have deep emotional talks or anything like that. That wasn't his style. But he paid attention. One evening, we were fixing part of the fence that had fallen over. I was struggling to hold one of the wooden posts straight while he hammered it in. "You rush too much," he said. "I'm not rushing." "You are. You just don't notice it." I didn't respond. After a few seconds, he added, "People who grow up like you always rush." That made me stop. "What do you mean, like me?" He hit the nail one last time, then finally looked at me. "Like someone who knows no one's coming to help." He said it so casually, it almost didn't register. But it hit harder than anything my parents had ever said. Because it was true. And he knew it. My brother stopped coming completely around that time. Not that anyone forced him before, but now he didn't even pretend. "No internet, no friends, nothing to do," he said once, laughing. "Why would I go there?" My parents didn't argue. Of course they didn't. Meanwhile, I started going almost every weekend. Sometimes I'd bring groceries, sometimes just myself. We'd work, eat, sit outside in the evening without saying much. And for the first time in my life, silence didn't feel uncomfortable. It felt safe. The real breaking point didn't come out of nowhere. It built up slowly, like pressure in a pipe, until it finally snapped. My brother's 18th birthday. I didn't even know anything was planned. I came home from work, same as always, expecting nothing. And then I saw it. A car, parked right in front of the house. Clean, shiny. Way too expensive for what I knew my parents could afford. There was a giant red bow on it like something out of a commercial. And my brother was standing next to it, filming himself. No way. No way! Thank you. This is insane. My mom was crying, actually crying. "You deserve it," she kept saying. "You deserve the best." I just stood there, frozen. Because suddenly, everything I had ignored for years came rushing back at once. All the times I didn't ask for anything. All the times I worked instead of complaining. All the times I told myself, "It's fine, I don't need it." And right there, in that moment, I realized it was never about need. It was about who they wanted to give things to. And it wasn't me. I didn't plan to say anything. I really didn't. I could have just gone inside, taken a shower, gone to sleep like always. But something snapped. "What about me?" It came out before I could stop it. Everything went quiet. My brother slowly lowered his phone. My dad turned his head like I had just insulted him personally. "What about you?" he repeated. I stepped closer. "I've been working for years. I paid for my own clothes, my own stuff. I never asked you for anything like this, not once." My brother scoffed. "Oh my God, here we go." I looked straight at him. "Just for once, Don't talk." That did it. He stepped toward me immediately, like he had been waiting for this. Or what? There it was. Not a brother, not even close, just someone who wanted to prove something. He stepped closer, and I could already see it in his face. That same look he had as a kid when he knew he could get away with anything. "Say it again," he said. "Back off," I told him. Or what? That was it. I shoved him. Not hard, just enough to create space. But he came right back at me, swinging. Everything after that blurred together, shouting, pushing, something crashing behind us. My mom screaming his name. Not mine. Never mine. "Stop it! Stop it!" she yelled, grabbing him, not me. My dad got between us, but not to calm things down. He turned to me. "You've lost your mind." I was breathing hard, adrenaline hitting all at once. "He gets everything, and I get blamed for existing." "That's not true," my mom snapped. "It is true," I shouted back. "You just don't want to see it." My brother, still behind my mom, pointed at me. "He's jealous. He's always been jealous." And my dad nodded. That's what broke something in me. Not the fight, not the shouting. That. Because in that moment I realized they actually believed it. The next few weeks felt like living in someone else's house. No one talked about what happened, but everything changed. My mom stopped speaking to me unless she had to. My dad acted like I wasn't even there. My brother walked around like he had won something. And maybe he did. I started staying out longer, taking extra shifts, avoiding being home as much as possible. Until one night, it all came back up. I don't even remember what started it. Something small. It was always something small. "You're never home," my mom said. I laughed. "Yeah, I wonder why." That was enough. "You're ungrateful," she said, crossing her arms. "After everything we've done for you." I felt this weird calm come over me. "What exactly have you done for me?" Silence. My dad stood up slowly. "You have a roof over your head. I paid for everything else. You're part of this family." "No," I said. "I'm really not." That's when he pointed at the door. "If you don't like it here, you can leave." No hesitation, no emotion, just done. So I did. I went to my room, grabbed a duffel bag, threw in whatever I could carry. No one stopped me. No one asked where I was going. I walked past them, opened the door, and stepped outside. And I waited. I don't know why. Maybe some part of me thought someone would say something. "Wait. Don't go." Anything. But all I heard was the door closing behind me. That was it. 19.5 years old. No plan, no family. Just gone. I went straight to my grandfather. It was late when I got there. I still remember knocking on the door, my hand shaking more than I expected. He opened it, looked at me for a second, then at the bag. "You stayin'?" he asked. "Yeah, if that's okay." He stepped aside. "You don't need to ask that." Same words as before, but this time, they hit differently. Inside, everything felt the same. And for the first time since I left that house, I could breathe. I stayed with him for a few months, not as a kid visiting, as someone rebuilding from zero. I worked more hours, saved everything I could, helped him around the house, fixed things, took care of the land. We didn't talk about my parents, not once. But one evening, while we were sitting outside, he said, "You did the right thing." I looked at him. "You don't even know what happened." He gave a small shrug. "I know enough." That was all I needed. Eventually, I moved out. Small apartment, cheap, barely furnished. But it was mine. No yelling, no tension, no feeling like I had to justify my existence. Just quiet. I built everything step by step. Work, routine, stability. I even met someone. A girl who didn't need drama to feel alive. Who actually listened when I talked. It felt normal. And every now and then, I'd visit my grandfather. He was getting older, slower, but still sharp, still watching everything. My parents? My brother? Nothing. No calls, no messages. It was like I had disappeared from their lives. And honestly, I didn't miss them. Not in the way people expect. I didn't feel sad. I felt free. Then one day, everything shifted again. We were sitting in the kitchen, drinking tea like always, when my grandfather said, "I'm giving you the house." I thought he was joking. What? The house, the land, all of it. I just stared at him. What about them? I asked. He didn't even hesitate. They didn't show up. Simple as that. The moment they found out, suddenly I existed again. My phone rang for the first time in years. "Hi." My mom's voice sounded softer than I remembered. "We should talk." Then my dad. "It's not right for everything to go to one person." And my brother? He didn't even pretend. "You manipulated him," he said. "You were always sneaky like that." I let him talk. Then I said one word. No. They tried everything. Guilt, pressure, fake apologies. "Family should stay together. We can figure something out. It's only fair." Fair. That word again. I almost laughed every time I heard it. Because now, suddenly, fairness mattered. Now, after everything. I said no. Every time. Years passed. My grandfather died quietly. No drama, no hospital chaos. Just gone. And everything became official. The house, the land, mine. I didn't sell it, didn't split it, didn't negotiate. I kept it. And then, slowly, I started hearing things. From distant relatives, old neighbors. My brother never figured things out. No discipline, no direction. Always expecting someone to fix things for him. My parents? Struggling. Money problems, stress, arguments. And the part that really stood out, no one was helping them. Not friends, not family. No one. And the truth is, I didn't feel bad. Not guilt, not regret. Nothing. Because I had already lived that life. The one where no one helps you. Where everything is your responsibility. Where no one shows up. They just got there later. That's the difference. The last time I saw them, my brother was standing in my grandfather's house, yelling that I stole his future. And I just looked at him and said, "No, you were given everything, and you still lost it."
If you made it this far, you already know, some stories hit harder than others. If you enjoy real stories like this, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more coming. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.